began with a single phone call, a voice trembling with fear, and a promise, one that was never kept. Her name was Jessica Lane, a 27-year-old nurse from Brookridge, a quiet suburban town where nothing truly bad was supposed to happen. She had dreams of starting her own clinic someday. But one October night, her dreams and her life were stolen in the most horrifying way imaginable. That evening, Jessica was driving home from a late shift. It was raining hard. The kind of cold, endless rain that muffled every sound and blurred every light. At 10:42 p.m., she called 911. Her voice shook as she whispered, "Someone's following me. I think he's been behind me since I left work." The operator's voice was calm. Too calm. "Ma'am, can you describe a vehicle?" Jessica tried, but the car's headlights were too bright, its shape swallowed by darkness. The operator told her to stay on the line, to drive toward town. But then came the moment every true crime investigator still can't forget. Jessica's voice, terrified, breaking, said, "He's speeding up, he's pulling beside me. Oh my God, he's..." And then silence. The line went dead. Police were dispatched, but not immediately. The official report later revealed a 14-minute delay between Jessica's last words and the first patrol sent out to look for her. By then, the rain had washed away much of the evidence. At 6:17 the next morning, a jogger found her car abandoned on an access road, the engine still warm. Jessica's phone was on the passenger seat, still connected to 911. And a mile away, her body was discovered near a drainage ditch. She had fought back, hard, but whoever attacked her knew what they were doing. For weeks, the investigation stalled. No witnesses, no clear suspects, no signs of forced entry or robbery. Then, the media caught wind of the delay, how Jessica's call for help had been mishandled. Protests erupted across Brookridge, demanding justice. Under pressure, detectives re-examined the 911 logs, and what they found raised more questions than answers. The call operator that night was Melanie Carter, a seasoned dispatcher with 7 years on the job. Her record was clean. Her tone during Jessica's call was calm and procedural. Too procedural, some would later say. When detectives interviewed her, she claimed she followed protocol, said she had no idea the call would end in tragedy. But something about her story didn't sit right. A young investigator named Daniel Reyes began reviewing every 911 call Melanie had taken over the past year. And that's when he noticed something chilling. 6 months earlier, another woman had reported being followed. Same tone of panic, same area of town. That call, too, had been routed through Melanie. And that case, too, had gone unsolved. Coincidence? Maybe, but Reyes didn't think so. He pulled Melanie's phone records, and what he found cracked the case wide open. The night Jessica was murdered, Melanie had exchanged 10 text messages during her shift, all with the same number, a number registered to her cousin, Kyle Carter. Kyle had a criminal record, mostly minor offenses, trespassing, stalking, harassment. But the kicker? He lived less than 2 miles from where Jessica's body was found. Reyes dug deeper and discovered that Kyle had worked briefly as a janitor at the same hospital where Jessica worked. They had crossed paths before. Armed with a warrant, police searched Kyle's home. In his basement, they found Jessica's missing bracelet. And in his phone, a string of chilling messages between him and Melanie. One read, "She called. I told him you'd have time." Another, "You said she'd be alone tonight." The implication was undeniable. The 911 operator who was supposed to protect Jessica had warned her killer. When Melanie was brought in again, she broke almost immediately. Through tears, she admitted that her cousin had been obsessed with Jessica, that he talked about wanting to teach her a lesson after she rejected him months earlier. Melanie claimed she never thought he'd actually kill her, that she only bought him time to scare her. But her confession sealed her fate. She was charged with obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and accessory to murder. Kyle Carter was arrested 2 days later, after a brief standoff. He confessed without hesitation. In his chilling statement, Kyle said, "She thought calling for help would save her, but my cousin answers the phones." The case sent shockwaves across the country. How could the very system built to protect people become part of the danger? How many cries for help had gone unheard because someone on the inside was protecting evil? Jessica's family later filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the department, and the 911 response center was completely overhauled. A memorial now stands near the road where she was found. A simple plaque reads, "In memory of those whose calls were never answered." Every year on the anniversary of her death, her mother leaves a single white rose at that spot, and a note that says, "I heard you, Jessica. I always did." If this story shook you, take a second to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we share stories that remind us how fragile justice can be and how every voice deserves to be heard. Never ignore a cry for help, because silence can be deadly.